disaster preparedness network made up of patriot-oriented radio operators. Break. We are here to help during times of disasters and civil defense. Everyone is welcome. And if you're a God-fearing, freedom-loving, patriot-oriented radio operator, then welcome home. You can learn more by visiting us at www.amron.com. I spell AmRRON phonetically: Alpha, Mike, Romeo, Oscar, November. This is only a practice net. To learn more about our emergency communications plan, you can find the AmRRON signals operating instructions on our website. Also, be sure to visit our local AmRRON webpage at somron.com for radio recommendations, chirp files, and lots more. Break. We are family friendly and want anyone with a license to feel free to talk, even a child, and several already do, and they are cute as could be. So remember, it's not ham radio. Let's keep it simple. The only expectation is courtesy, patience, and helpfulness. Also remember to announce your entire call sign every 15 minutes when using this repeater. Break. Okay, it's that time of year again. We have established a tentative date for our GMRS potluck. That's cool. It will be May 21st, the Sunday after Mother's Day, from 2 to 6 p.m. The location will be announced on April 7th, which is already past that time. Okay, anyway, we'll figure that out later. I'm sorry, I'm just reading what was printed out for me. Break. Why do we do this? The goal of this net is to equip all citizens in Southern Oregon to be able to have and share information during a disaster or extended power and or communications outage. To further that goal, it is also important for you to cultivate relationships with like-minded neighbors using the Channel 3 project. Remember, even if you checked in with me on the repeater, it's still important for you to discover your skills and your radio's capabilities using FRS, MRRS, and CB Channel 3, and for you hams, 146.420. So I encourage you to check in at the end of the repeater portion by switching channels on your radio. Don't forget the CB check-ins are from 6:30 to 6:45 with Dave 439. Break. His CB handle is 101 Mechanic. Keep notes of who you can hear. It may prove valuable in the future. Also, we are in the process of streamlining our check-in process, so please be patient with us if we somehow miss you. It will take a few more weeks or so to get the bugs worked out. As you can imagine, with several NCS running the show, it requires a lot of coordination. There are 4 of us, and I'm on a Mac, so it makes it kind of difficult in some regards, and, figure out the programming. It always goes a little wonky, as you can expect. Break. The quote of this day is, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if only one remembers to turn on the light." And that was from J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Very cool series. I don't know who out there read it, but I did. That's how some of my children learned how to read. Pretty cool stuff. Break. Now we have a radio teaching moment. There are several of us that continually monitor the Channel 3 project frequencies. Test your equipment whenever you want. You never know, someone may just reply to you at any time. All right, the order of the net is as follows. I'll be taking check-ins, and then I will read the AmRRON intelligence briefing, and then the Channel 3 project will commence. Okay, this is a directed net, so please hold any traffic until the net control station, calls for it. Any emergency traffic may break in at any time. Is there any priority traffic? Hearing none, I will take announcements one at a time. And ladies first, please. This means Karen, WRJX359. What have you have for us?
This is WRJX359 Karen, wishing to invite all of the ladies out there to join in the Patriot Ladies Radio Net every Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. on this same frequency. We have lots of cool topics. We support one another, and we practice. So if you know someone is out there that is a little timid to get on the radio and would like to start, just have them listen in, and then they can join in if they have a GMRS license. This is WRJX359 Karen, back to Net Control.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. I am proud to say I'm a part of that Patriot Ladies Net. It is quite fun. We always come up with a lot of very cool information to share with each other and our radio community out there. Moving on, the next announcement, I'm going to call Craig, WRPJ605.
Whiskey Romeo, Papa Julia 605. How do you receive me?
Loud and clear, Craig. Go for it.
I receive you loud and clear also. Thank you. Thank you for doing the net. The Ivar Club meetings, 6 p.m. on the second Tuesday of every month at Wild River Brewery in Cave Junction. Website is ivark.org. The Ivark Net check-ins, Monday, 7 p.m. on the Ivark repeater on $8 Mountain, 462-600, PL 141-3. After the net, we have Channel 3 project. We have FRS 3 and MERS 3. We welcome unlicensed operators to check in along with licensed operators on the FRS and the MERS check-in. And thank you again for doing the net, and back to the net. And could you count me for this as my check-in tonight?
Absolutely, Craig. I got you very much. Thank you for that announcement. Next we have Wes, WRKU 327.
Hey, Kimber and the net. I was transmitting on the wrong repeater. Fortunately, I didn't say anything. Anyway, a couple of announcements, actually. The first being the Amateur Radio Club, Southern Oregon Amateur Radio Club here in Grants Pass, always extends a invite to GMRS operators, because after all, we operate radios too. We love the hobby. And they extend this invitation to their monthly club meeting on Tuesday night, coming up the next Tuesday, or this coming Tuesday at 7 o'clock at the Fruitdale Grange. Often they have interesting topics of discussion, presentations, that sort of thing. Usually they're technically oriented, but I have yet to find out if there is a presentation and what it's going to be about. When I find out, I'll let you know. But if you don't do that, and if I don't find there's something compelling to go down there, every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock on this very repeater, the mighty NV725, we have not a net. And the net control operator is yours truly. And it's basically a net about you, where we hear about your week, what's going on, concerns, triumphs. Tell us all about your week, and you will get challenged with a trivia question at the end of your contribution. It's kind of fun. Check it out. You could join just for the trivia question if you want, if you're not feeling all that loquacious. But otherwise, listen for that on Tuesday, 7 o'clock on this repeater. Back to Net Control. This is Wes, WRKU 327.
Thank you, Wes, very much. And loquacious. I love that word. That's a good word. I remember it very clearly because I learned it in high school, and we had to write down all the cards for that, the little index cards, and loquacious. Very good word. All right. Moving on to our next announcement, we have Dave, WRMS 439. Dave, 439, do you have a copy? Okay, negative contact 439 for the time. He's probably taking check-ins as we talk. So are there any other announcements at this time? Hearing none, let's move on to the check-ins. Please check in with your full call sign. Stand by for me to call you. Okay, first we have WQRR330, Ron.
WQRR330, Stat Rep Green, Colonial Valley.
Thank you, Ron. WQWL251, Marty. WQWV795, Dave and Virginia.
WQWV79 is Stat Rep Green, Picker Creek area.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that very much. Does Virginia want to sing?
Yeah, she's busy. You can check her in though. She's here.
Gotcha. Thank you. Next we have WQWV800, Frank.
WQWV800, Stat Rep Green, Colonial Valley.
Awesome, Frank. Thank you. WQYL512, Larry. WQZA709 Alpha, Carol.
This is WQZA709 Alpha, Stat Rep Green, Colonial Valley.
10-4, got you loud and clear, Carol. How about Marcia, 709 Bravo?
WQZA709 Marcia, and it's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. Thanks, Marcia. WRAG842, Ed.
This is WRAG842, Stat Rep Green here in Merlin.
Thank you, Ed. Now we have Jeff, WRCB602. Jeff, I know you're there, so I checked you in. WRDY409, Doug.
Good evening, Kimber, and everybody else. This is Doug, WRDY409 Mobile in Colonial Valley, Stat Rep Green.
Awesome, Doug. Thank you. And thank you again for this opportunity. You are very loved and appreciated. Hello to Cindy and hugs. WRSN528 Alpha, Brian. 528 Bravo, Michelle. How about WRFV644, Cameron?
This is WRP644, Stat Rep Green.
Thanks, Cameron. WRJE628, Steve.
WRJE628 coming to you live from Southwest Grants Pass.
Sounding great, Steve. Thank you. WRJE998, George.
WRJE998, George, Stat Rep Green, Northeast Grants Pass.
Gotcha, George. Thank you. WRJS656, Walter.
WRJS656, Stat Rep Green.
Good to hear you, Walter. Thank you. WRJT385, Ivy. WRJX359, Bravo, Karen.
WRJX359 Karen, Merlin, Stat Rep Green.
Thanks, Karen. Sounded great. WRKF 572, Bob. WRKJ 318, Jason.
WRKJ 318, Stat Rep Green.
Thank you, Jason. Sounded good. WRKJ 553, Josh. WRKJ 746, Roger.
WRKJ 746, Stat Rep Green, Lower River Road.
Gotcha, Robert. Roger. Thank you very much. WRKN 603, JJ.
WRKN 603, Stat Rep Green, Shank Creek area.
Loud and clear, JJ. Thank you. WRKN 799, Tony.
WRKN 799, Stat Rep Green, Jump Off Joe Creek Road.
Gotcha, Tony. A little bit of staticky, but I heard you pretty clearly. WRKR 400, Alpha, Dave.
WRKR 400 Alpha, Stat Rep Green, Colonial Valley.
Thanks, Dave. You were a little quiet, but I heard you. How about Daryl? 400 Bravo.
WRKR 400 Bravo, Stat Rep Green.
Gotcha, Daryl. Thank you. WRKT 668, Ralph.
WRKT 668, Stat Rep Green, Merlin.
Gotcha, Ralph. Sounding great. Thank you. WRKU 327, Wes.
WRKU 327 West, Stat Rep Green, 9-mile marker, Lower River Road.
Gotcha, Wes. Thank you. And I am checking in for myself, WRKV 487, Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Break.
Comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when you call for check-ins on the elk repeater, for the first time in eons, I flipped over there and tried to check in, and guess what? Dewey, 605 from Jacksonville was running the net. So when you check him in, you might ask him for the numbers from elk. KU 327.
Oh, thank you, Wes. I know I'm going to ask him for the CB check-ins for Medford as well, so I will ask him. Thank you. All right, next we have WRKX 236, Stanley.
WRKX 236, all our status is green here on our homestead, and our 1020 is near the saddle, the I-5 saddle between Merlin and Grants Pass. Hey, Kimberly, what was the date on that get-together again?
Hang on a second. It is going to be May 21st from what I see.
Copy. Thank you for running the net tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you. Loud and clear. All is well. And hello to Robin for us. WRME 8. WRMM 243, 43, I'm sorry, let me start over. WRMI 433, Scott, do you hear? All right, you already checked in early, so I do have you down here. WRMM 243, Will. WRMP 481, Carl.
WRMP 481, Stat Red Green on Monument Drive.
Sounding good, Carl. Thank you. WRMR 573, Henry.
This is Whiskey Romeo Mike Sierra 439er checking Henry in for him tonight.
Gotcha, Dave. Thanks. And then what about you and how many CV check-ins did you have?
I actually had 15 check-ins tonight, which was pretty good. And our stat red is green over here on Williams Highway over here. And Kimber, it's really nice to hear your voice, and thank you for doing the net tonight. Sounding good.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you so much for everything you do as well. Appreciate all you guys and ladies and gents of this amazing net. We have a good connection here.
Kimber, you're so awesome.
Late check-in.
WRMU 735, Jerry.
WRMU 735, Stat Rep Green, Shan Creek.
Sounding good, thank you. WRMW 211, Alpha.
WRMW 211 Alpha, Stat Rep Green.
Awesome. How about 211 Bravo?
WRMW 211 Bravo, Stat Rep Green.
Thanks, Hope. How about 211 Charlie?
WRMW 211 Deborah, Stat Rep Green.
WRMW 211 Ezra, Stat Rep Green.
WRMW 211 Levi, Stat Rep Green. WRMW 211 Sarah, Stat Rep Green. WRMW 211 Bethany, Stat Rep Green.
Oh my goodness, thank you to the 211 household. You all sound wonderful. Thank you, thank you. All right, very good to hear you all. That gave me a smile. All right, let me compose myself and move on. WRNA 957, Joseph.
Whiskey Romeo November Alpha 957, Stat Rep Green, Colonial Valley, no further traffic.
In and out check-in.
Thank you, Joseph. I think I stepped on somebody there. Was there a comment after that?
Yeah, I'd like to have an in and out. I've got to leave. WRPG 496, Little Joe in Colonial Valley. I wanted to check in, but I've got to go out. I can't stay for the net. Good evening to everyone.
All right.
We love you, Little Joe.
Okay. Now I have WRNM 425, Dawn.
Whiskey Romeo November Mike 425, Stat Rep Green, Southwest Grants Pass.
Thanks, Dawn. WR November Mike 427, Dave. Whiskey Romeo November 591, Tim.
Whiskey Romeo November 591, Stat Rep Green, Robertson Bridge and Azalea.
Sounding great, Tim. Thank you. Whiskey Romeo November 801, Bobby May.
Whiskey Romeo November 801, Stat Rep Green, and I love everybody on this planet.
Aw, thanks, Bobby May. You are incredible. Thank you so much. You bring happiness. WRNQ 416, Alpha, Brian.
Whiskey Romeo November Quebec 416, Alpha, Stat Rep Green, Pottsville.
Thank you. How about 416, Bravo, Nathaniel?
WRNQ 416 Bravo, stat rep green.
Awesome, Nathaniel, thank you. 416 Charlie, Beth.
WRNQ 416 Charlie, stat rep green.
Thanks, Beth. 416 Delta, Grace.
WRNQ 416 Delta, stat rep green.
Sounding great, Grace, thank you. 416 Echo, Joshua.
2 more weeks and he'll be back with us.
All right, got that, thank you. Next we have WRNR 984, Ron. Okay, now we have the 963 household. I've already checked in WRNU 963 Alpha, Ron. Next we have WRNU 963 Bravo, Belinda.
WRNU 963 Bravo, stat rep green, and thank you everybody for your prayers for my dad from last week. He's doing great.
That's great to hear, Belinda. Thank you. Yes, prayers can move mountains. That's a good energy to have. How about 963 Charlie, Izzy?
WRNU 963 Charlie, stat rep green.
Thank you, Izzy. You are just the cutest ever. I love to hear your voice. You hear that every week, I know, but we just love you. You are loved from everybody. How about WRNX787 Alpha, Jim?
WRNX787 Alpha, stat rep green and Hugo.
Thank you, Jim. How about 787 Bravo, Heather?
787 Bravo, stat rep green.
Sounding great, Heather. WRNY 961, George.
WRNY 961, George, Hugo, stat rep green.
Sounding great, George. Thank you. Okay, WROS 605, Dewey. You have some information for us.
Yeah, this is WROS 605. And on the here in Center. Further check-in. Report, thank you.
Hey, Dewey, I couldn't hear you. You were pretty staticky. Can you try that again?
Yeah, sometimes I have it.
Ron 330, could you copy?
I did not. I couldn't understand him either.
538 comment.
Go 538. Go 538.
That was 528 with a comment. He's calling in for check-ins from the GMRS Elk side. Just wait for 487. You can get it from him.
Okay, so Isaac copied all of that. Go ahead, 327.
Yeah, Brian, Dewey took over the net tonight. So, Dewey, if you can hear me, I'll whip over to Elk and you could give me the numbers. I'll report them back to this AmRRON net in the Rogue Valley. So I'll just whip over there and then I'll report them back. Back to net control, WRKU 327.
All right, thank you, Wes, for taking control of that. Next we have, Joe has been checked in, and Craig has been checked in. WRPJ 605 and WRPG 496. Thanks, guys. Next we have WRPL 826 Alpha. Richard.
Whiskey Romeo, Papa Lima 826, Richard. A couple miles south of CJ by the Big Cat Park. Stat Rep Green. No further traffic, back to Nat.
You are coming in loud and clear, Richard. Thank you. Awesome connection. How about 826 Bravo, Sue?
This is WRPL 826 Bravo, Sue. Stat Rep Green. Thanks for doing the net, Patriot Lady.
10-4. Thanks, Sue. It's awesome to be part of this great group. WRQC 598 Alpha. Jim.
Whiskey Romeo, Quebec Charlie, 598 Alpha, Stat Rep Green, Northwest Grants Pass, back to net.
Thanks, Jim. Super loud and clear. How about 598 Bravo? Brian.
WRQC 598 Bravo, Brian, Stat Rep Green.
Excellent clarity, Brian. Thank you so much. WRQH 731 Richard. WRUA 709 Alpha. Ken.
WRUA 709 Stat Rep Green and New Hope.
Thank you, Ken. And is Angela around this week or not?
She's not. Actually, Bravo is my wife, Sue, and she's a little shy on the radio, but she's here listening.
Oh, okay. So I should change it from Angela to Sue and check in?
Yes, please. Angela is in Southern California, and so we don't see her very often.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will put that in here now. Guys, give me a second. Okay, next we have WRUD 451, Lisa.
Whiskey Romeo, Uniform Delta 451, this is Lisa, Northwest Grants Pass, Stat Rep Green.
Thanks, Lisa, you sound great. Next we have WRUD 474, Kale. No Kale tonight. WRUE 231, Joshua. WRUK 693, David.
WRUK 693, Snowman here.
Sounded good there, Selma Man. Thank you very much. WRUK 227, Ben.
WRUW 227, Ben. U Creek Road, Stat Rep Green.
Thanks, Ben. How about 227 Bravo, Scott?
227 Bravo, Scott. And?
Is there more from 227?
I was trying to get my daughter to check in. Stand by 1 second here.
2227 Charlie.
That's awesome. Very cute. Okay, 227 Charlie, we got you in here. What a cute voice. Okay, next we have WRUZ 471, Jeff.
Whiskey Romeo, Uniform Zulu 471, Jeff, out at Bridgeview, Cave Junction.
Sounding good, Jeff. Thank you very much. Next we have WRVL 404, Keith.
Sorry about that, wrong mic. Good evening to everyone from WRVL 404, Keith and Rogue River, Stat Rep Green.
Loud and clear, Keith. Thank you very much. WRVQ 563, TJ.
WRVQ 563, TJ, Central Point. Back net.
dramatically and quiet tonight, but I got you clear enough to check you in. Thank you. WRVZ729, Jared. WRVW365, Kelvin. WRWC549, Rick.
Whiskey Romeo, Whiskey Charlie 549, where you are, green.
Gotcha, Rick. Thank you. Loud and clear. WRWM841, Wayne. WRWT597, Rick. WRFN487, Isaac. Okay, folks, that's the list as I have it. Are there any late or missed check-ins?
WRVW365, Calvin, Northwest Grants Pass.
I'm sorry, Calvin, could you repeat your call sign a little slower, please?
WRVW365.
Gotcha, Calvin. Thank you. Any other late or missed check-ins?
WRMS 972, late check-in.
WRMS 972. Okay, I gotcha. Thank you. Any other?
327 with the other numbers from Dewey.
Go ahead, Wes. What do you have?
The AmRRON net on the Elk repeater had 14, and the CB Channel 3 project from the Medford area had 7. Back to net control, WRKU 327.
Awesome, Wes. Thank you for those numbers. Okay, last call. Are there any late or missed check-ins or anybody who wants to join this net?
Whiskey Romeo, Mike 243, late check-in, Will.
I got you, Will. Thank you so much for checking in. Is there anybody else that wants to check in or come new to the net? Come now, don't be shy. Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move on to the AmRRON intelligence briefing. Begin report. The first one is source is the Forward Observer Intelligence Services. A standoff. PLA rehearses Taiwan invasion. China's military continued a third day of rehearsals for an attack on the island nation of Taiwan on Monday, according to China's People's Liberation Army, PLA, Eastern Theater Command, whose operational responsibility includes Taiwan. The PLA is carrying out simulated joint precision strikes on key targets on Taiwan and in the surrounding seas. On Sunday, there was a reported standoff between 10 PLA Navy warships and 10 Taiwan Navy warships in the Taiwan Strait. Break. Over 70 PLA warplanes conducted incursions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone on Sunday. China's Eastern Theater Command also released an animated video that showed missiles fired from China striking select targets in Taiwan. According to a Reuters report, China is also conducting simulated air and sea attacks on foreign military targets in the waters southwest of Taiwan. Chinese media reports that additional live fire exercises are scheduled north of Taiwan for the 15th, the 17th, and the 20th. Break. The next one is from source Amir Sarfati. More bad news for Taiwan. The Philippines will not allow any offensive actions from the bases it has opened to U.S. troops, President Marcos said Monday. And in the PNW, Pacific Northwest, scientists are preparing for a potential earthquake that could devastate the northwest area of the U.S. if triggered. A hole in a 600-mile-long fault line in the Pacific, just 50 miles off the shoreline of Oregon, is currently leaking hot liquid. It is located on the boundary of the Dipping Fault, which is known as the Cascadia Subduction Zone, in an area that spans from northern California into Canada. Break. Experts fear the Cascadia Subduction Zone could unleash an earthquake with a magnitude of 9.0 in the Pacific Northwest, activated by the hole due to its chemically distinct leakage known as fault lubricant. I encourage you all to go look up the Cascadian Subduction Zone. It's all over the internet and has lots of good information in preparation for us here in the Pacific Northwest. This is the end of the report. Break. Okay, now let's move on to the Channel 3 project. The Channel 3 project has several consistent operators that have great coverage of our area. JJ and Wes in the West Grants Pass area. Cameron is south of Granite Hill, and Jim 787 in the Hugo-Merlin area. All these guys are top-notch operators. However, if you are unable to hear the guys I just mentioned, then step up and ask for Channel 3 check-ins in your area. Just ask for names and general locations. If you get any, report them to Ron 330 on this repeater as soon as you are done. Ron will stay tuned after the Channel 3 check-in, and then Wes will shut it down. So any of you have any reports, please just check in with Ron. Again, JJ 603 will lead the Channel 3 project, and Wes 327 will facilitate the discussion at the end of the Channel 3 reports. Thank you all, and God bless you all. God bless the Republic. Okay, JJ, take it away. This is WRKV 487 out. God bless the Republic.
All right, let's go ahead and start the Channel 3 project. We'll begin on GMRS Channel 3. After that, we'll go to our AmRRON frequency 3, and once we're done there, we'll go to ham frequency 146420. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start the Channel 3 project. I'll see you on GMRS Channel 3.
That last station was pretty unclear and staticky. I think it was 605, but I'm sorry we could not hear you at this time.
This is 330, stand by, waiting for the final check-ins on the Channel 3 project. 330 here. They're moving over to the Channel 3 project on AmRRON. If you want to get in on that, here's your chance.
Last station, you are still statically. I do not copy. Thank you. KV 487.
487, this is 963 Bravo. I think that might have been 963 Alpha trying to do a check-in.
Okay, thank you, Belinda. I couldn't hear him, though, but I have him checked in already.
No, I think he was trying to check in with me to let me know that he's still doing okay.
Okay, gotcha.
963 monitoring.
Copy, Marty out in Selma. Can any of you do a relay for 251, checking in the North Valley?
This is 259, you're wanting to check in?
Yes, sir, Ron, is that you, or is this 251 out in Selma, out Deer Creek?
Yeah, this is Ron.
Good to hear you. Could you get me checked in to WQWL 251?
251, we can do that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
This is WRKV 487. I copy that 251. Ron, I got him in your spreadsheet. Thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and check out so that I can go to the elk repeater. This is WRKV 487 saying good night to all. Thank you. It's been wonderful. And good night, Grandpa.
330, waiting for the final check-ins on the Channel 3 project.
WRKN 603 with Channel 3 project check-in numbers.
330 here. Go ahead, JJ.
Yeah, we were able to pick up 19 GMRS, 19 MERS, and 14 ham.
Okay, that's 19 on FRS, 19 on MERS, and 14 on ham. Good job.
Right from.
That's the final reports on the Channel 3 project. Wes, are you over there?
Yep. What do you got for the net? And remind me what Dave's report was, the Grants Pass CB number.
Grants Pass CB number was 15. The regular net was 68.
Oh, perfect. That's getting pretty consistent. And I will have you know that when JJ and I compared the Channel 3 project numbers for GMRS, MURS, and ham radio, we completely agreed on all three numbers. This is maybe the first time we've done that, so that was kind of a milestone.
Yep, sounds good. Practice makes perfect, or perfect practice makes perfect, but you're getting there.
Yeah, perfect practice makes perfect. Yeah, I've practiced a number of things poorly, and I got really good at doing them poorly. I remember I took a semester of German. I didn't learn much, but there was a phrase we had to learn, Übung macht den Meister. And I guess practice makes the master. So I guess that's true in all cultures. Are you ready for me to put a ribbon on it?
I am ready.
Okay. They say too many cooks spoil the broth, but we have about 3 or 4 cooks, maybe 5 on this net, and I don't think we've spoiled the broth. Anyway, my name is Wes Whiskey Echo Sierra, WRKU 327. You've been listening to the AmRRON net, and now we throw it up for any... Throw it up. That sounds like a stomach flu, doesn't it? We throw it open for any comments or questions you may have. Please come now. 644. Okie doke. There was a double there, but 6441, let's start with 644. And the other stations, stand by just for a second. Go ahead, Cameron.
I will try to keep it brief. Very quick observation/comment. I noticed what I can only attribute to atmospheric conditions, because I was having some trouble getting to the repeater tonight from further away when I was mobile in Rogue River, and it followed me to a different radio, different antenna. The GMRS side was having some issues on the Channel 3 project, getting as far as I normally can. So it sort of stresses the importance of having the relays in place, and then also, if you're able to, being able to use other frequencies like MERS. Just kind of wanted to throw that out there. It's a real-world instance where sometimes you want to be prepared with other options.
Wow, I could not agree more. And my eyes were open tonight to the same thing, but basically you gave me a little bit more data to form a hypothesis, and here's why. I don't know if you've seen Dewey's station in Jacksonville, but he gets it from Jacksonville extremely well, consistently. He's kind of got a setup sort of like JJ's with a huge tower and adequate, good quality feed lines and antennas, et cetera, And today, he could not get into the NV725 repeater to save his life. We thought it might have been interference from a nearby hotel that likes to use channel 22, but that did not explain why he was transmitting on the split and still not getting in. And I noticed you on GMRS, even at your base station, were incredibly weak. JJ noticed it too. So there's some atmospherics with this particular frequency that is making radio propagation difficult. So the conclusion is it's really, really handy to have a number of different bands that are separated from one another to be able to communicate, since sometimes the atmospheric conditions will deteriorate one specific band. So, and you were booming in on MERS, no problem. So you're right. It was the UHF spectrum and certainly not the VHF spectrum. Go ahead.
Yep, with the incident with Dewey not being able to get in, kind of made me wonder, and also the issues I was having when I was mobile. So you nailed it. It's very likely atmospheric. Always a good idea to have more options for communications, especially when you're trying to do simplex, radio to radio, and you may not be able to get out, or you might have a whole bunch of other people trying to do the same. The other options, such as MERS, out there are good to have. So if anybody needs recommendations on radios or needs help programming them or anything along those lines, a whole lot of folks out here are always willing to help get you squared away. WRB 644, back to net.
Thank you, Cameron. And that's one of the reasons with the Channel 3 project we practice doing relays, because that might come in handy one of these days. There was another station that keyed up just about the time Cameron was when I made a call for questions or comments. So please come now. Let's see. Kimber, are you still on frequency?
She was headed over to the other net that she goes to. She may be back.
Okay. I was going to have her read that intelligence briefing relative to the Cascadia fault, because I was kind of not listening when she read it the first time, and I thought, oh man, I want to hear that again. You have that at your fingertips, Ron?
Speaking of fingertips, it is in my hand, at my fingertips.
Well, if you would, I would appreciate you just reading that one briefing report for my benefit, because most of the time it doesn't affect us directly, but that one's kind of sound like it would.
I had the same thought. Here it is. And in the Pacific Northwest, scientists are preparing for a potential earthquake that could devastate the northwestern area of the United States if triggered. A hole in a 600-mile-long fault line in the Pacific, just 50 miles offshore of Oregon, is currently leaking hot liquid. It is located on the boundary of the dipping fault, which is known as Cascadia Subduction Zone, an area that spans from northern California into Canada. Experts fear the Cascadia Subduction Zone could unleash an earthquake with a magnitude of 9.0 in the Pacific Northwest, activated by the hole due to its chemically distinct leakage known as fault lubricant.
Thank you, Ron. Okay. I'm glad I got to hear that while I was actually concentrating on listening for a change. Interesting. I used to be part of a net that they did down in Southern California. There was a scientist at JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories, and she was kind of like the, not worldwide expert, but one of the experts on earthquakes. And she was also a ham radio operator. And she ran this net, and it may still be going on for all I know. It was on Sunday nights, if I'm not mistaken. It was called the Seismic Precursor Network. And they had all these hams that had taken the challenge to bring data back and report it to this woman. I believe her name was Mary, but I don't remember her call sign, who was a professor at JPL. And some people were measuring well water levels. Some were measuring all kinds of different, some had acoustic measurements where they could listen for creaking and cracking of rocks and caves, etc. like that. Reset. And anyway, they would bring all this data back and crunch the numbers and decide whether, an earthquake was imminent. And one of those fascinating reports every week was from a ham who looked at all of the newspapers in the area. This was prior to the internet. And he would count up basically the lost animal report, because just before an earthquake, apparently dogs and cats and critters run away. And there was even a guy that was observing a bunch of birds, because apparently the pet birds wouldn't get on their perches. They would sit squarely on the floor of their cages when an earthquake was preparing to. Anyway, I thought that was kind of fascinating, the Seismic Precursor Network. So, moral of the story is keep an eye on your animals, and if they start behaving strangely, brace for the quake. Any other questions or comments before we close the net? WRKU 327.
I think you've told that story before, or I've heard it somewhere else about the guy looking at lost animals in the local area and determined that that's affecting their earthquake is affecting them too. There is a guy that does a YouTube. I can't remember, Dutch Sense on YouTube, and he literally, as far as I'm concerned, can predict earthquakes. Not to the minute, but within about a week, he does a pretty good job of predicting earthquakes.
I've looked at his channel and watched a number of his reports, and he's shockingly accurate. He's been predicting them pretty much within 24 hours of the all around the globe, for that matter. Yeah, Dutch Sense. Yeah. It's worth looking up. Maybe I'll look him up tonight and see if he's predicting anything for the Cascadia subduction zone. We probably won't get hit with a tsunami up here, but we might get a little bit of shaking. And that might alter your plans for a prolonged vacation at Brookings or Gold Beach. And I probably did tell that story before, Ron. People are going to start saying, "Hey, you already told that story."
Another thing, I've heard that when the big one hits, that everything to the west of I-5 will be destroyed. And I'm just thankful I'm a mile east of I-5.
yeah, like I-5's going to be the boundary, huh? Well, I'm 9 miles west of I-5, so I'm trying to think what I could leave for you in my will, because, you know, I'm not going to leave you my grandmother's Fiesta plates, because those will all be shattered, right? I'm trying to think of something that could survive that you could have when you survive it, and I don't. Anyway, all righty. One last call for any comments or questions before we close the net with a few redundant announcements. Copy. There was a comment, and I'm wondering if that's Ken.
Whiskey Romeo November Alfred 957. Just me, Joseph, Cloney Valley. Like Ron, I'm also east side of I-5, so I guess you'll just have to camp out in my backyard.
You're just a couple doors down from Doug, so I know that neighborhood. I like that neighborhood. That's a really nice neighborhood. I'd be happy to. Okay, I'll do that. I need to dig out the tent. I must have a tent somewhere. I mean, who doesn't, right? It's probably full of spiders by now. Okay, let's put a ribbon on this marvelous thing. You've been listening to the AmRRON Net Sunday nights, 7 p.m. AmRRON stands for the American Redoubt Radio Operators Network. It's a nationwide disaster preparedness network made up of patriot-oriented radio operators who aim to help during times of civil defense or during disasters like we've been talking about. On Tuesday night, you can either go down to the SOARC meeting at the Fruitdale Grange, or you could listen to Not a Net on this repeater at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. Either way, I'm sure that you'll have fun. Patriot Ladies occurs on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Karen leads up this band of sisters that practice their radio skills and talk about just really good methods of living here in Southern Oregon and preparedness and, you know, all that sort of thing. And it's a fascinating... I'm not allowed to participate, but I do love to listen to it. Reset. If you're listening on Channel 22 and you don't have a GMRS license, I'll bet you want one. And if you want one, the FCC issues them. And they're good for 10 years. They're good for your whole family. And you don't have to take a test. Right now, they lowered the price from $70 to $35. And if you want to know how to get one, you might be able to find how to do that at OregonGMRS.org. And those of you seasoned radio operators, you might want to pop over to OregonGMRS.org for other fascinating factoids, like procedures for operating on a net, and there's lots of cool information about the various repeaters in the area. So it's a good spot to go to. I want to thank Jeff, WRCD602, for the use of this repeater system. This concludes the AmRRON Net. This is WRKU 327 West, returning the repeater back to normal GMRS operations. Have a great week.